I'm Ben Broghammer, and you're listening to the Ben Broghammer Show. Well, welcome back to the show. For those who live or work in the city of St. Louis, we are all well aware of the city's 1% earnings tax. It applies to all residents regardless of where they work, and it applies to all workers regardless of where they live. Cori Bush was set to appear on Thursday, October 23rd, just a couple days ago, following a court summons issued on August 27th. The reason? The city sued her for unpaid earnings taxes from 2020, 2021, and 2022. In total, the city of St. Louis sought $6,390.38 in unpaid taxes, penalties, and interest from both her self-employed income and wages from her time in Congress. While she was in Congress demanding higher taxes, increasing our nation's deficit, and pushing expensive programs, she wasn't paying her taxes here at home. Court records show that process servers attempted to notify her of this lawsuit multiple times. They were unsuccessful. Attempts made on April 25th, June 24th, and July 17th. The case was dismissed earlier this month on Friday, October 17th, following her payment in full. Missouri has a state statute that requires candidates to file what's called an affidavit of tax payments and bonding requirements. It's filed with the state's Department of Revenue. Candidates typically will fill this out when they go to declare their candidacy at the Board of Elections. This does not apply to those running for federal office. So did she not know that she had to pay her taxes? Likely not. In fact, on April 18th, 2023, a post on X reads, quote, "Don't forget, today is #tax day. To find your closest free tax return preparations, eligible individuals can visit irs.treasury.gov/free tax prep or call 800-906-9887, end quote. Her X account is littered with posts calling for the rich to be taxed, stating that our, quote, wealth needs to be taken back. Is it a numbers thing? Well, here are some more posts from her X account. May 17th, 2021, she posted, "Today's tax day. If you've paid your taxes, you're paying more federal income taxes than Nike, FedEx, and dozens of other major corporations did last year. It's time to tax the rich. It's time to tax corporations. It's time to put an end to our rigged system." May 17th, 2021, she posted that. The word tax is bolded as well, which I found interesting. Bolds her word tax in her posts, but doesn't pay her earnings tax in the city of St. Louis. Here's another one, very simple, again with the bolding. September 18th, 2020, tax the rich. Here's another one from December 16th, 2020. When we use social services, we're not taking a handout. We're just using services we already paid for with our own taxes. And then she goes on to talk about billionaires and how we should be taxing them. Someone who at the time didn't pay all of her taxes, stating she is part of the group who pays into the system. Interesting. Well, Cori Bush ran for Congress in 2018 as well. Didn't make it that time. But here is a clip of her while on the campaign trail explaining taxes. Take a listen.
The wealthy should pay their fair share.
Yes, wealthy should pay their fair share.
What is a fair share? What percentage?
So you're saying that you're saying that they're paying their fair share is what you're saying.
No, I'm asking what percentage is a fair share?
Their fair share, the same, if a third of my money is going to taxes, then I think a third of their money should be going to taxes. Well, it does.
I'm trying to understand because you realize the effective tax rate on the poor is less than it is on the rich, right?
Okay, so first of all, I'm not the poor. I'm very close to that line, but I'm not the poor.
Okay, so the effective tax rate on the effective tax rate on the middle class is less than it is on the rich, correct? What fair share would you like to change the tax rate to on the wealthiest what percentage of Americans so it's a fair share?
So let's say the wealthy 1% could pay, let's say if they paid, let's just give them 45%.
That was a Fox News clip from back in August 2018, specifically August 4th, 2018, when she was first running for the U.S. House of Representatives. And what's interesting with this clip, I know we just have the audio here for this program. It looks like she's in a campaign office, campaign headquarters, a number of signs behind her. Cori Bush for Congress 2018 is a large number of those signs. But one stands out in particular, and it reads, "Not one penny in tax cuts for the rich and corporations." So even Texas is getting called out on her wall in whatever office she's in. Doesn't know, doesn't care, rules don't apply to her. Only with a summons will she comply. That's my opinion. But back to the facts here. She wants change for the community. She talks the talk on taxes, but she doesn't walk the walk. Well, here's another statistic for you. According to KMOV reporting during the last election, she missed 17.6% of votes in Congress. There's only 6 members who missed more votes than her out of 435. And she wants change for the community. Well, who hasn't avoided court recently? County Executive Sam Page. His case, which was the case that stems from the Prop B mailer that went out earlier this spring, we touched on that heavily a few episodes ago. That case was moved to Greene County last month. And just this past week, his attorneys asked for the court to dismiss charges. The allegations are that Page purposely expended more than $35,000 in county funds, our tax dollars, to produce and distribute over 50,000 political mailers to sway the election outcome. That Prop B initiative would have allowed the county council to fire department heads. And it failed. So why are his lawyers asking for this to be tossed out? Well, they say that Sam Page didn't act directly. They made an interesting comparison, in fact, while sharing with the media on why they were hoping to get this tossed out. Quote, counts 1 and 2 charge Dr. Page with violating section 115.646, which criminalizes a public official directly using or authorizing the use of public funds to engage in express advocacy for or against any ballot measure or candidate for public office. But the indictment nowhere alleges that Dr. Page acted, quote unquote, directly, like a speeding ticket that does not say how fast the driver was going, end quote. You decide. Is stealing 5 figures from taxpayers, allegedly, different than speeding? Well, who is the victim of all of this stealing? You and me, taxpayers. And remember, our taxes are constantly going up without explanation. Remember my episode a couple weeks ago? They can't explain how they assess and tax real estate. Just think about the other taxes in the county. And then we see how they're spending it. Stealing, they argue, the county government cannot be a victim. Here's another quote from that statement. Quote, the law requires an actual person who is deceived. An amorphous entity like a county government cannot be, quote unquote, deceived, and so cannot be the victim for an offense under section 570.030. These charges are like saying someone lied to a building rather than a person in the building. Well, he lied to all of us, allegedly. Do we not matter enough to be considered a victim of a crime? Complete disregard for accountability. This is the same county executive that challenged the governor over who had the authority to appoint the county's prosecuting attorney earlier this year when Wesley Bell vacated his position to be sworn into Congress. An appeals court then decided with the governor on that case. So those are the facts. Do you see accountability? Do you see honesty? Do you see integrity? You decide. This show is about the facts. It's always been about the facts. And I'm going to add something to the list of items that we just went through. And this will apply to both Sam Page and Cori Bush. These are the people who want to be leaders in our community. Leaders for all of us or just some of us? You decide. Leaders who use their position to paint their own narrative. What is certain is decisions made on the campaign, while you're in office, while you're contemplating a re-election. The decisions we make on election day, when we go to fill out our ballots, and the decisions made afterwards. Those decisions have consequences. Those decisions will have impacts on all of us. So those are the facts. This is the Ben Broghammer Show, and thank you for listening. Hope you tune in next time.